Hi, scrolling along with Susan here. Today I'm at my computer. I'm going to show you how I use Gimp, which is a raster graphics free application to design a scroll saw pattern. I have a rough outline that I drew of three morel mushrooms, and I'm going to turn this into a trivet or a hot plate if you want to call it that. I'm going to scan this into my computer and then go from there. So here we go. Raster graphics manipulation application called Gimp that I have uploaded, and they have a lot of different applications for a lot of different operating systems, so there might be one that works for you. Anyway, I've uploaded it. This is my home screen, and I'm ready to pull in the scanned document that I have. So I'm going over to File. I'm going to Open. I have Documents, and let's see, which one was it? Right there. That's the one that I scanned in. I'm opening it, importing, and there we are. Okay, from this page, if it is not already cropped to your selection, then you'll want to crop it so that there's not a lot of excess paper here. You can come up right up here to Image, and you can click Crop to Content, and there you are. It makes it smaller. If that does not work, you can come over here to either use the circle or the rectangle. Draw a rectangle around your item, and then come up here to Image and crop to selection. But I've already done that, so I want to get rid of that. But those are two ways to crop it to your selection. I like to work in not pixels but inches, so I'm going to change this to inches. This picture is about 6.5 by 7 inches, and later on I am going to make it much bigger, but for now we'll work with this. Now there's a lot of gaps, as you can see, that I need to fill in here, and there's a lot of extra cleanup that I have to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it. First thing I'm going to do is go over here to Paintbrush and click on Paintbrush tool. That's going to give me a whole list of things that I can work with on this paintbrush. It has sizes going from, I think 1 is the lowest, a very thin line, and you can get really fat lines, whatever size line you want. I think this is around 2, so I'm going to put it up at a 2. Now you have to pick your color. This is black, so I'm going to work with the outline being black. Let me go back here and show you what I did. So I clicked on these two boxes. I clicked on one box, and it gives me a whole selection of different colors. I'm going to click on black, click OK, and now I can work in black. Now this is kind of a small printout, so I need to make it bigger. On your keyboard, you can use the plus. Let me click onto the picture. The plus or the minus. Obviously I'll be using the plus because I have a lot of cleanup to do to make this a better picture. Now you know that you can do your own drawing completed and upload it, and then you can change and scale it to the size that you want for your completion. But I'm actually going to show you how to design the mushroom shapes by using Gimp. So I have made this quite a bit larger, and I have chosen Paintbrush Black number 2, and I'm going to be doing the lines, the outside lines that didn't quite work. In fact, it looks like almost I can use a number 1, but that's not too bad of a thickness, so I kind of like it. I'm gonna stick with that. So you can draw, outline, do whatever you need to with your black. Oh, that one's lousy. If you make a mistake like that, you go up to Edit, undo Paintbrush, and it will take the last one that you did away, and then you can start over again to draw the outline. As for getting rid of the extra markings, like here, I don't need that. This little arrow up here that goes between black and white, I'm just going to click that, and now automatically I have white, and I can cover over and fix some of the mistakes that I made. let's see, I need to get rid of this and clean it up a little bit. It could have been a lot easier if I would have made the drawing a little bit clearer, but I wanted to show you how you can change things on Gimp to suit your needs. So I'm going to pause it so that you don't have to watch all of this cleanup. It's not perfect. I'm going to be doing a lot more work off camera, but in fact there's a little dot right there that needs to be cleaned up, and there that needs to be cleaned up. But I want to get to the actual creation of a scroll saw pattern that I can cut out. Now the first thing that I want to do, I want this all to be cut out in one piece. I clearly cannot cut straight on these lines because then I would have 3 different morels, and I want it in one solid trivet piece. So I need to draw lines, or not draw lines, but erase the lines right at the connection. So I'm going to put a line or marking there, and then a couple other places along the edges so that it will still remain one piece of wood. I'll be doing it over here on this side as well. And you can put more lines here, but I think 3 is going to be adequate here. Now this part right here is going to be cut out, so I don't have to worry about that. The other place where I'm going to have to put separations are down here on the stems. So again, I'm going to put markings here up at the top where each one of them connect. Let's see, I'll put one here. And I'm going to put a spot like sideways kind of on here. I'm going to put a couple here because I want this to be a nice solid base. And at the bottom, and the bottom here, the bottom here, right there where it's connected, and put an extra line in here. Hope that makes sense. Also remember, constantly save on this. If you do not keep saving, everything you've done may get erased and you have to start back at the very beginning again. Let me correct that a little bit here. A little extra there. Okay. Now it's time to actually draw the morel, I don't know what you want to call them, holes or whatnot on them. And I'm going to start with these curves so I can show a definition. So this right here is the large morel, and this mark right here is the smaller morel. The first thing I want to do is connect. I'm going to switch over here to go to black. I have it on size 2, and I'm going to connect these lines into my first shape. And I'll be connecting this one too. And this can be a random shape. It does not have to be exact, as long as this line is showing the shape of the morel. And then I will go with this one on this side. I might just bring this up a little bit here too. And then here's another one. I'll bring this down here a little bit. And it's showing the outside shape of this one. Now I'm just going to be doing random shapes. Fun shapes. If you want to try to put a half moon or something in one of them, let me use the shape here. Make this into a half moon, or a backward C, I guess if you want to call it. You can make these shapes large, small, a mixture of both, large gaps, shorter, smaller gaps. The shapes that you be cutting out, if you don't want to cut out as many, make the shapes a lot more gap in between. If you want to be cutting out a whole bunch, then you can certainly do that too. Let's see, whoops, made a mistake there, so I'm just going to flip over here to my little arrows and go back to white and kind of erase that a little bit. And once you get your general shapes in, if you don't like what you see and you want to go back and you want to fix something else, I'm going to go along the edge here. Make this one a nice big one. Bring it over here. Don't make them right next to each other, because that's the wood that you want to keep on there to make the trivet. If you have so many holes that you have more holes than you actually have trivet, it kind of defeats the purpose. All right. Make this a real long one. I don't like the point on that, so I'm going to go back here and erase that. And off camera, I'm going to pause this and fill in the rest of it so you can kind of see what we're looking at for a morel. We are back. I have finished my lines I'm going to be cutting out, and I wanted to show you this. If some people, scroll sawers, find it easier to see the line with their blade when it's in a different color. So if you want to do all of your cutouts in a different color so that your blade can follow it easier, I wanted to show you one that can be like that. But this is my cutout, or this is my pattern, and I'm going to do one more save here, and I'm going to see myself. It might be a little bit easier to go with this type of color instead. And I'm just seeing one mistake that I made here. For some reason I don't have a solid line on the outside, and I need to have one, so I'm going to draw this real quick. There we go. Let me save that again. The last thing to do would be to scale it to whatever size that you would like and then print it out. So if you choose image and scale image, right now the width is 6.36, the height is 6.9. I want to print it on about an 8.5 by 11, so I'm going to make it about 9 and 8 inches. I'm going to go ahead and scale it to that. Let me shrink it down here so you can see the whole thing. Save it once again. Now with my printer, it doesn't print as well in Gimp as it does in my regular programs. So I am going to export this now that I have it saved and ready to go. And I will be exporting it and it will choose it as a PNG. That way you can pull it up with whatever program you want. Export it, and you're ready to print it out. And in my next video, I will be actually cutting this pattern out and showing you what it looks like.